Good evening, folks. How are we all this evening on this Thursday night? We're delighted to be giving you some predictions for 2026. As always, I'm joined by Mr. Dill, and we've had to bring him back for day release for one day only. Alan's back. Hello, gentlemen.
Evening.
Hello.
It's been a while, ain't it?
It's been a whole week.
it's been a while since we've had Alan around.
It's been a long while.
Yes, it was lovely and quiet.
But has it been long enough? That's the question.
Let's put it in. If people in the comments want the question, has it been long enough? You give us your answers in the comments.
This is it's going to be fun enough. Just going to predict the Championship and National League. We're not going to do the Premiership at the moment because Ipswich still haven't announced a team, and we are 2.5 weeks prior to the season starting.
Excellent.
Brilliant organisation. Yeah, that's the champions. Do you want to get started then, Palmer, and we'll have a look at Berwick before we all say where we've put the Bandits this season.
So, Berwick, for me, where the bloody hell's my predictions here, are a playoff team, and their team consists of Peter Kilderman riding at number 1, Victor Palavara and Nick Morris joining in the heat leader departments, where the second strings will be Jai Etheridge and Lassie Fredrickson, with Jack Smith and Reed Scott Batty at reserve.
It's a good looking team, that. It's a very good top 2.5, I'd say. Palavara would class as brilliant first half of the season, not such a good second half, but if he can do what he did in the first half with Nick Morris and Peter Kilderman, that's a brilliant top 3.
I reckon that's a solid team all the way down. Jai Etheridge is a bit hit and miss away from Sheffield, and we don't really know what we're going to get with Reed Batty there. But
well saved. Very well saved.
I know what I was doing.
So you say you've got them as a playoff team. Where have you got Berwick?
I've got Berwick second.
Oh, that's an interesting. Me and you say this a lot. Berwick always look like a playoff worthy team at the start, and then they get an injury to the wrong person
at the wrong time.
And they never really replace them.
No, but there's a very good mix of riders in that team, and that's a team that will perform very well at home. But even if it don't pick up a wins away, it's good enough to pick up bonus points.
So you've got him second. Al, where have you got Berwick?
I've got Berwick in 4th.
Reasons behind that one?
Just, for me, the top 3 look pretty decent. I just worry that's going to be a bit heavily relied on with having Lassie Fredrickson and the hit and miss Jai Etheridge in the middle. And then we don't really know what we're getting with Reed Batty, so I suppose the top ones are going to have to perform to keep the points coming in.
It's fair. It's very fair.
Given some of the other teams, I reckon they can still make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I've got them 4th as well. I think as we go on, there's going to be a common theme here where we think teams are going to do really well at home but take a battering or 2 away. I think this Berwick team is a team that may not get battered away so much because other than Reed Batty, all the other 6 have got experience of these tracks. You know, Peter Kilderman back in for a second season. Nick Morris puck up towards the end of last season after the ban, and I think he'll be solid enough. Reggie was okay, Lassie was okay when he was fit. There is question marks over his fitness, and you know, keeping him fit, should we say, there's a bit of an injury proneness there, but I think that's a team that could make the playoffs. So I agree with you both. And their team total is 39.81, leaving us 0.19 under the limit for Berwick at the start of the season. So they've built a decent team with the points available.
Very much so.
Moving on to Alan's second favourite team now, the Scottish team of the Edinburgh Monarchs. with Dan Thompson making the switch from Glasgow at number 1. Justin Sedgman is in there as well, with Paco Castagna, the third heat leader. Kai Thompson and Jonathan Grant are the second strings, and Mitchell Clough and Geordie Loftus are the reserves. We'll start with Al this time. Al, where have you got Edinburgh?
I have Edinburgh number 5, so 5th in the table. For me, that Edinburgh side, I think, are probably more heavily reliant on the top 2 of Thompson and Sedgman. Castagna, it's a bit of a hit or a miss. Thompson was awful last season. Jonathan Grant, if he can keep the form up, should do a decent job in that second string. The reserves, I think that's a worry for the Monarchs, if I'm honest. Mitchell Clough didn't have a great season, and Geordie Loftus, well, the less said about him, the better.
Palmer, am I tripping here? Did Alan just say Kai Thompson was awful last season? Was I watching something different to Al?
He did start the season not very good. Then he went to Tesco's and realised strawberries was £4 a punnet, and then thought, oh, I better get decent at this riding bike stuff now.
For 2/3 of the season, he was relatively consistent. He started slow, but I wouldn't say he was awful.
Well, I thought it was awful, but that's maybe just coming from a Glasgow perspective.
Al's got those tinted glasses on again, isn't he?
Just let me take off the old tinted glasses before I wink to the wig.
I'll go next. I've put Edinburgh 9th. I think that Edinburgh team finishes bottom of the table. Dan Thompson, there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He's going to have to carry that. Justin Sedgman's hit or miss. There's no real middle ground. He's either really good or really not. I think Paco will step up, and I think Kai will, but the reserve areas particularly, I think they're going to struggle. Mitchell Clough didn't show a lot when he was at Plymouth, and Geordie Loftus had glimpses, but the points didn't reflect the glimpses of potential that we saw from him. Palmer?
So, this team is very much a make or break team, and I think the team will make it, and I've got them in 3rd. I think once they all get dialed into Armadale, they'll go unbeaten at home, even against the Ouija's, Al, and that team will do enough to pick up aggregate bonuses, and that's all you need.
And it is a track where you can hit a massive score at home and then just go away and ride it out for the aggregate. And it's a real home track advantage. Track is Armadale.
Have you got my tinted glasses on, Palmer? Put them 3rd. I thought I was going high in 5th, but geez,
my tinted glasses belong to Ipswich, Al. Anyway. Going on to the shitter side of Scotland now, the Glasgow Tigers.
Al's tinted glasses are about to come back.
Leading the charge at Ashfield. It's not Armadale, it's Ashfield. Leading the charge there is Christopher Harris, with Kyle Howarth joining him, and Leon Flint in the heat leader departments. 2 debutants in British Speedway, in Kevin Yule Pedersen and Super Mario Housel. I think that's his name. Both in the second string positions there, with Sam Hagan and Freddie Hodder returning to Glasgow. What do we think of this team, gents?
Al, you can go first. We'll let you.
Oh, thank you very much. I don't think it's a bad team. Bit gutted to lose Dan Thompson, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, it's not a bad team. I think the reserves will be better than they were last season, but we'll see how it goes.
Palmer?
Right. The Ouija's. I have put them in 6th place. I think they've got a very solid top 2. Leon, he's been around a while now in this scene, and you're either going to get 15 points out of him or 2 points out of him. There's no in between. There's too much. There's a lot riding on Kevin Yule Pedersen and Mario Housel for them.
I think you're right. We've got a quick comment in the YouTube chat. Andy5786, brilliant. Shoot some shower predictions on the Championship Speedway. Love the videos. Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in, me old fruit.
So Glasgow, I have put Glasgow third. I think there's a lot of... You know what you're going to get from Bomber. You, to an extent, know what you're going to get from Kyle. Kyle really seemed to find an edge last season at Glasgow. He found a ruthless streak, which he perhaps lost a little bit. I think Sam Hagan is one of the better number 6s in the league, and I think if Freddie Hodder lives up to what he showed glimpses of last season, I think that as a pairing will be absolutely solid at home, and I think they'll chip in some points away as well. Like you said, Palmer, Leon Flint's a bit of an enigma. For me, I reckon Kevin York Pedersen becomes that third heat leader across the course of the first month or so. I think him and Leon will swap. He looked really good every time we saw him race last season in individual meetings.
Can't disagree, really.
And Mario Hausel, I didn't really know a lot. I still don't. But he was decent in SON2, weren't he, for Germany?
He won SON2.
It'll be decent to see how he goes in British Speedway, but he's got potential, and he'll either sink or swim. But I think, you know, we'd hate to admit it, but he's in a really good team to learn British Speedway with Bomber.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Now on to the Oxford Cheetahs, who by their standards had a really, really tough season last year.
I actually forgot to tell you where I put Glasgow, by the way.
Third,
I just noticed.
Third, the same as me, anyhow. Yeah, I was got him third as well. Not such rose-tinted glasses then. I think it's a playoff team, but a lot will depend on if Leon Flint is the Leon Flint that Sheffield had last year, or the Glasgow one, because Leon was brilliant in the Premiership, but a share of SH1T in the Championship more often than not.
That's fair.
Andy has commented his top 4 predictions of the Championship of Poole, Berwick, Glasgow and Oxford. That's an interesting one. We'll come to some of those teams after. For Oxford, they retain... Justice for Scuddy. Sam Masters retains his number 1 jacket at Oxford, and Mitch McDermott and Luke Killeen both return as well. Darryl Richins and Dow Wood are the reserve pairing, with Eric Rees fully fit and fighting healthy again, with Anders Rowe making the switch from Poole to Oxford for this year. And that is the rivalry now. It's not the Edinburgh-Glasgow rivalry, it's Poole and Oxford the last couple of seasons. So that's like the Dan Thompson going to Edinburgh thing for Glasgow fans. That feels like a bit of a betrayal from Anders to Poole fans, I think.
Yeah, I think, obviously Anders is well loved at Poole, isn't he? So... And obviously the... never forget the beef from the 2024 finals.
Yes.
Yeah, never forget.
We've all got some varying predictions on this one. So, Palmer, if you want to go first with your Oxford prediction.
So I've put Oxford in 5th. Sam Masters, you know what you're going to get with him. Second best rider in league. Anders can be hit and miss. He was great for Poole when he was at number between 2, 3 and 4. Can't remember which one it was. When he went to 5, I think the pressure got a little bit too much to him. Risky, love Risky. I think he's great. If he stays injury free, Oxford will be fine. Our Oxford team is all dependent on Eric Riss. Mitch McDermott again put some numbers on the end of his average. Luke Killeen's a bit of a concern for me in the top 5, but Darryl Richards will be fine, and well, Dale Wood is Dale Wood.
Dale Wood is Dale Wood, and we saw him in some of the Aussie meetings over the winter, and he was awful. And that's a concern for me as well. There's a lot of pressure on Darryl, and it's his first full season at Championship after, to be fair, an impressive spell with Poole for a little while. But I think there's pressure on him, and there's a lot of it. I've got Oxford in 8th. I think that team finishes bottom but 1. only ahead of Edinburgh. I think Sam Masters will do the job. Mitch McDermott's form went off towards the end of the season. I know there's the argument that there was nothing to race for and stuff, but every rider wants to score as many as they can to get paid, and he just wasn't doing it. I agree with you on Luke Killeen. He needs to step up, I think. So there's a lot of pressure on Anders Rowe, Sam Masters and Risky in that team for me. Al, what have you got for Oxford?
We've gone for Oxford in 6th place. A lot of my reasons are similar to yours. Obviously, we're having Sam at 1. Great number 1 in the league. Anders Rowe, I think, can do a job for them. However, I think him at number 5 could be problematic. You know, he might buckle under the pressure a little bit. Eric Riss, depends how he comes back from this injury, or if he gets injured again. That's the one that worries me. Mitch McDermott can do a job, but needs to keep consistent. Colleen, well, it depends which Colleen turns up, I suppose. And then Errol Richards, I reckon he'll do a job at reserve. And then Dale Wood, I'm not sure about Dale Wood at reserve. I think that's probably weakened him a bit at reserve.
Where have you got him?
6th.
6th, okay. So I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't think Anders Rowe starts at number 5. I think Peter Stroke uses Eric Rissy's experience to go at number 5 with Sam at 1 and Anders at 3 or 4.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I think Palmer will probably agree with that one as well.
I'd agree. And I'd agree with everything that you've said. But then you said the words Peter Shrek.
It's true. He's not a very good manager, is he, to be honest?
Well, he'll be number 5.
Oh, God. On to Plymouth. This is an interesting one for all of us.
It is. And Plymouth this year are led by Daniel King and Scott Nichols, with Ben Barker joining them. Joe Thompson and Tobias Thompson in the middle order, with Daniel Kleemer and Tom Spencer at reserve. That, for me, is a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very good home team. That is a very good away team. I don't think there's much stopping Plymouth this year, and part of me wants them to do well, and I've put them in 4th.
Injuries and rider availability may be an issue, although Danny King, Scott Nichols are very reliable. Injuries, Daniel Kleemer had a nasty one. Ben Barker had a couple last season as well. I think you're right. I think it's a team that could be there or thereabouts. I've got them just outside the playoffs, but I think that experience of Danny King and Scott Nichols, for me, this team is more exciting than the team that was led by Jason Crump and Bjarne Pedersen a few years back.
Oh, it is 100%.
Yeah.
Joe Thompson's brilliant at the Coliseum. Tobias Thompson, you know what you're going to get. He may be a bit of an idiot sometimes, but you're going to get nothing less than 100% commitment from him. Kleemer showed some real desire in the meetings he did before injury, and Tom Spencer's spending a lot of money on new equipment for this season, and if he dials in with the experience he's got and a few 2-pointers in other teams as well, I think he could be a trump card, certainly at home. So I've got him 5th. Al?
Well, I've put them in 7th place in the table, only because I thought that bottom end weren't as strong as some of the teams in the league, and it also depended on Barker, how he came back from his injury, and obviously Klima as well. And I think Tobias Thompson needs to have a better season this year. I don't think he had as good season last year as he did in 24 at Poole. I think a move to Plymouth might just help him, but he's going to have to step up. As will Joe, and Joe now being in the main body.
I think that's a fair comment as well. Joe's been in the main body for a couple of seasons at Plymouth now, but I think that's a fair comment about Tobias. He showed glimpses last year, but he was never consistent enough, was he?
No, it wasn't.
So that's Plymouth looked at. Now the reigning champions, the Pirates of Poole, the team everybody loves or hates. They're like Marmite. They're led again by Richard Lawson. I'd imagine Zach Cook will again skipper the side. He returns for another season, and Louis Kerr rounds out the the heat leader trio for that team. A few question marks over Fraser Bowes at the minute. He got injured in Australia during the winter, and he's going to be again racing against time to be fit for the season now. Dan Gilks is coming back off a pretty bad injury as well, so the second strings for Poole ask a few questions for me, and then the potential packed pairing of William Cairns and Cooper Rushton at reserve. Palmer, where have you got the Pirates of Poole?
Where they always go, top of the pile. Yeah, they'll go unbeaten at home. I think they'll tonk everybody at home to a point where they just have to turn up to the away meetings, and they've already got the aggregate points sewn up. This, however, will be the year whether Will Cairns, more than anybody, floats or sinks.
I agree with you on that. This is the year whether we see whether he will swim or sink. I think you're right. Al, where have you got the Pirates of Poole?
I've gone and put Poole at number 2, second in the league. Only because, as you said at the start, Fraser Bowes depends if he starts or who comes in for them. My other concern for that team is the fitness of Angelics coming back from his injury and Louis Kerr staying injury free.
It's true, yeah, I didn't even think about
because
Louis Kerr.
Louis Kerr is known to pick up an injury. Last season he picked up one, did manage to bounce back, but it takes one injury and that's it. It knocks that team badly, especially with Louis Kerr, and potentially Dan Gilks could get another injury.
Have we gone to an alternate universe here? Alan's actually speaking sense.
Yeah, I don't think Poole win the league, but I certainly think they're up there.
I'm with you. I think Poole finished second. Lawson and Cook, you know what you're going to get. Louis Kerr was good last season, more often than not. He did manage to stay relatively injury free, but that second string pairing, you know, Fraser Bowes currently injured, Dan Gilks coming back from a knock, and you know, Palmer's said this before, he has been quite injury prone in the last couple of seasons as well. Cooper Rushton's going to have to be allowed time to find his feet at championship level, and William Cairns, as we've all said, it's whether he sinks or swims. But I don't think that Poole team look as dominant as past teams, but we said that about last season's, and to an extent they weren't, but they still won most of the trophies.
Apart from the one that Red Car nicked off them. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
And we're talking about Red Car now. Palmer, over to you, son.
Up the Bears. So,
up the Bears until we see where you've put them in the predictions.
Exactly.
You're not going to be allowed to the Echo Arena this year.
I've only been honest.
It's true.
So the Red Bears then have a very, very familiar look about them, with Charles Wright leading the team at number 1, because of course he is. Jake Allen joins the Bears from Scunthorpe for this season, whereas Jason Edwards returns. Jordan Jenkins also returns after two years at Oxford. Poor geezer. Jake Wolford, Ace Piper, and Jody Scott all return to the Echo Arena.
Do you want to tell her? We'll save yours for last. We'll say because, yeah. So I'll go first on this one. I've got Red Car top in the table. Now that's a risk. A lot will depend on the 3 J's at 3, 4, and 5. Edwards, Jenkins, and Mulford. Jason Edwards is going to have to step up as a heat leader this year, with Charles Wright taking the best part of 9 points. I think Jake Allen's good value for a 6.5 average. Jordan Jenkins had a few knocks last season, had a very short season actually, so he's a bit of a risk on a 6, but he can fly around the Echo Arena. Mulford will benefit from having National League racing, which we'll talk about after with Kings Lynn, but I think he'll benefit there. That should do his confidence the world of good. I think me and you've said this a few times, Palmer, Red Car have got the best reserve pairing as a pairing in the league with Ace and Jody. So I'll reckon that team's a league topping team, but I'm also aware that's a risk. Al?
Well, you'll be surprised with this one. I'm agreeing with Dill. I've got them top of the league.
I
think
am
that is probably
shocked. I am blown
best
away.
the best looking side for me in the league. The one person that worries me is number 4, Jordan Jenkins. Because it depends if he comes back this season and he manages to stay injury free. Because he was not being great at Oxford the last 2 seasons, so he will need to find something to prove himself at Redcar. But I think a move back to Redcar will do him the world of good away from Oxford. That's for sure.
Fair enough. Palmer, go on, hit us with it.
Right. First of all, I'd like to say, if you're one of the people that I know at Redcar, just know I love you.
Please don't hurt him.
Please don't kill me. So, I really hate to say this, I really do. And again, Redcar, listen, I love you more than my mother. But
I feel a track walk redaction coming here from Gavin Park.
I was going to say, we've got a track walk coming up. Don't get us black booked from Leicester. From Redcar, sorry.
So, I don't think that is a playoff team. I think that is a towards the bottom of the league team, and I think I've put them 8th. There's a hell of a lot of reliance on Jake, Jason, Jordan, and the other Jake. Charles Wright will be fine at number 1. You know what you're going to get with him. Ace and Jody, absolutely fine at reserves.
Yeah.
That 2, 3, 4, and 5 are a big concern.
Mm-hmm.
If Jake Allen is on it, he's great. He's brilliant around Scunny. He's brilliant around Redcar. He's not very good around anywhere else, and he won't mind me saying that. Jake, if you listen, I love you, you big ginger bastard. Then Jason Edwards, great at home, inconsistent away. Jordan Jenkins, you don't know what you're going to get, and well, Jake Mulford's just kind of like there. So it has the potential to be a playoff team, but I don't quite think there's that away strength for it to pick any aggregate points up.
Fair enough. It is one of those. It's a little bit like Oxford. I've put Oxford quite low. That's a team that we could be proved completely wrong on. It's the same with Redcar, and it could be up there or it could be down there. I don't see it as a just scraping the playoffs or just missing out. It's either going to be really high or really low.
Talking of clubs that are either going to be really high or really low, take us through the next bunch of people.
So this is Palmer's team of the old Scorpions of Scunthorpe in Lincolnshire. And you said this before we went live. This is a team that reminds you of the 2024 team that was successful, a really strong number 1, and then relative, solidity, balance throughout the rest of it. So Josh Pickering makes his Championship return at number 1, his Scunthorpe debut after missing last season at Championship racing, but he does come along with an average the best part of 11.5 points. When it's 40 points for 7 to use over a quarter of it on one rider, you're going to have to make allowances elsewhere. Michael Palmtoft comes back. He was solid enough at Scunny, to be honest, when he was there, but he wasn't very good at Edinburgh last season. And Connor Mountain steps up to be that third heat leader. Big season needed for Connor, I think. Luke Harrison and Nathan Ablett, 2 really good British young riders in the middle order. Nathan Ablett comes back to Championship racing after a season out. And the experience of Simon Lambert partnered with the youth of Ryan Ingram, who makes the step up for his first National League team. Palmer, you can go first on this one. It's your club.
Ever so kind.
Nice.
So I've just had a quick look on the old updates.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Palmtoft, when he come to Scunthorpe last year, scored 11, paid 12.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what you're going to get with him at home. And this Scunthorpe team, I am convinced, is not the team that will finish the season.
I agree with you on that one.
I think 90% of the Speedway world that care about us would say that. I think Pico is the best rider in the league. We've got half a chance in the CLRC this year.
And you will claim that as a Scunthorpe title if he wins it.
Well, he'll be riding in his Scunthorpe race suit, won't he?
It's true, it's very true.
Again, Tofty around Scunny. He's just a joy to watch. Connor is steady. You know what you're going to get. You know he's good for about 7 or 8 points a meeting. Luke, again, is a rider that's on the up and up and up all the time. Ablett is probably the concern. But I think at home he'll be absolutely fine. Sai can't have a year as bad as what he had last year. And then we've got Ryan, who is just there to go and ride his bicycle and hope that he's happy with his 50 pence at the end of the night.
It does feel like it's a team that's set up for Ingram to not have any pressure on him early on and just learn, having a reserve partner like Simon Lambert is a bonus. And it's a team that's got potential. A lot of the theories of the team not being the one that finishes relies on Pico's average going down, but Pico was one of the best riders in the Premiership last season. If he does that at the Championship, his average isn't going to drop, I don't think, as much as people expect it to.
It's a weird one. So after 2 or 3 meetings, it's the same with Eric Riss at Redcar last year. After 2 or 3 meetings, his average goes back to what his Championship average was at the end of 24. Which I think was like 9.5.
It was under 10, weren't it? So there's your 1.5 points.
So it gives you a little bit of leeway, and I'm just saying, there's no Drew Kemp in the Championship yet.
It's true, but Andy would come in with his British reduction on an average under 8 as well, so he wouldn't be breaking the only one rider over an 8-point rule because his average with his British reduction puts him under. So
Exactly.
that's an interesting one, and to be fair, the time that Drew did at Scunny a couple of seasons back was almost the restart of the resurgence of Drew Kemp as well. So you never know. That's not confirmed. That's just us spitballing here, but there is a Drew Kemp size hole in the Championship. You are right. Al?
Well, I'm really sorry, Palmer.
He's not. He's lying to you.
I know exactly what you're going to say, Al. And don't forget, I'm seeing you at the weekend, and I know where I can get baseball bats.
I will say this, however, I think I might have messed this one up. After what you've just said there, I'm now having second thoughts.
Good.
But, as we speak, I currently have Scunthorpe propping up the bottom of the table, being the strong arms to hold it up, right down at number 9. And the only reason I've done that is right now on paper, they are heavily reliant on Pickering and to an extent Tofty, who wasn't great last year. Connor Mountain, I think, might be able to do a job in the middle order, but he's going to have to step up. Harrison can fly around Scunthorpe. Away from home, I'm not so sure, but we'll see. Ablett will take time to get back into the Championship, but I think might be able to do a job at number 2. Ingram, I know there's not a lot of pressure on him, so I think he'll do okay at reserve. Simon Lambert's your big issue. If he doesn't step up quick, unless you replace him soon, that's going to be a concern down at reserve if he performs like he did last season.
Lord Palmer said he can't have another season like that. For me, Simon Lambert's a trump card at reserve. He's the best out-and-out singular reserve rider in the league, and he should be scoring bagfuls of points at number 6.
I think, talking of Sai, yeah, he had a below-par season last season. A lot of people tend to forget in 2024 he was averaging over 7.
Yeah, and he was almost punished last season as well, again, for not having a Premiership team or anything this season. He's got National League, and whether people agree with it or whether people don't, he's going to have more bike time. It's happening. And when we spoke to, was he Trigger last time we did a podcast, he was really complimentary of the experience and knowledge Si can pass on. So I think him having extra racing, even those 10, 8, whatever it is, extra National League meetings, I think will help Si being on the bike more. Another quick comment from Andy. Scunthorpe got a good reserve in Simon Lambert. Could be the ace in the team. He's got no pressure on him this season and not captain. Has that been confirmed he's not captain?
Yeah, Josh Pickering's captain.
Oh, yes, Pico,
Yeah.
I don't think Si will still do a captain's job, certainly with Ablett, Luke and Ingram, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And now the last team on paper, Workington. I've got Scunny finishing 7th, the same as Palmer, but that's based off of the changes as well. It depends if there is changes and when they're made. It could be higher. If it's made in a decent enough period, it could be a championship team, a playoffs team for the championships. Last team, Palmer, the Workington Comets.
Workington. I don't know what to think of this team. I really don't. Anyway, their number 1 is Jonas Shepson. He's a bit ginger. Craig Cook makes his return to Speedway and Workington with Troy Batchelor going for back-to-back seasons with the Comets, along with Tate Zischke. Nicholas Holm Jakobsen is a British debutant at number 5, whereas Vinnie Ford returns at reserve along with our friend, not yours, Jamie Effrington.
Palmer, do you want to go first on this one?
So, Workington fans, if you have any, I've put you bottom. I think there's too much unreliability in that team and too much relying on a young 16-year-old Danish rider that's never ridden on these shores before.
Would your reliability concerns be the 2 and 3? You never know what you're going to get from them, do you? They're either going to turn up and fly or they can't be arsed and pull wheelies around the track.
And 4.
And 4.
Yeah. It's... I mean, don't get me wrong, opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one, some are full of shit and some haven't got any in. But I just... Yeah. I think... Yeah, you never know what you're going to get with Cookie. You're either going to get 15 points or he's going to be down the pub and say he's got long COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Batch, again, is just a rider on a downward spiral now, isn't he? Tate, I personally don't think he's fully recovered from that crash he had in 24.
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas Holm Jakobsen, ain't got a clue. I just know he's Danish.
Mm-hmm.
Spinny Vinny. Do I need to say any more?
It's been a while since we've heard that.
Jamie Effington will be fine because he's just there to ride his push bike. And Jonas Shepson, I reckon, right, Jonas Shepson probably be best number 1 in league. I
agree with you. I think... I saw him at Birmingham last year and Jonas Shepson's got a real fight and a real desire. And if the Ipswich team that I've been told with their nice 4.5 gap that they need to fill, Jonas Shepson fills that. He's got heart and he's got fight in him as well, and I think he could really do a good job for Workington at number 1. And he's a laugh. He doesn't take himself too seriously either. He just cracks on with it. If he has a bad ride, he don't come in and start shouting or throwing anything round. He just cracks on with it, and maybe Batch and Cookie could learn a thing or two from Jonas. And I've got Workington 6th. Al?
Well, I've put Workington 1 from bottom and 8th. Only because of some of the riders that you've mentioned. I actually disagree about Tate Zischke. I actually think he wasn't too bad last year, considering some of the points he scored away from home.
Please tell me you're just talking about the Championship, because he was a share of shit in the Premiership for Bellevue. It was awful.
I'm talking about the Championship.
Thank God for that.
Purely on the Championship side of things. Troy Batchelor, I don't think had too bad a season last year in the Championship. I think he did a job. Craig Cook, well, he's just... Well, yeah, less said about him the better. Because him coming back, I can't understand it. Jonas Shepson, I think he'll do a job at number 1. He'll be up there as one of the best in the league. The new boy, We don't know much about him. Gonna have to see what he does. Jamie Etherington, bit the same as Ryan Ingram. Not too much pressure. Just needs to go out there and enjoy it and see what he can learn. And then there's Mr. Vinny down at number 6. Let's just hope he doesn't get locked in another toilet again this season and at least actually manages to maybe come back to the man we know from Poole 2 seasons ago and not Vinny Ford of 25.
I don't think Vinny Ford was too bad at Workington last season. Me and Palmer watched was it the under-19s, Palmer, we watched, and he was flying in that, and he was really unlucky not to have won that as well.
Yeah, it was that one.
And I think Palmer will agree on this. Troy Batchelor was okay last season after the financial thing steadied. When he realised he was getting paid, he stepped up a little bit. I don't know if Palmer will agree to that, but he certainly seemed to be better once Allied stepped in to help out Workington last season. And now we're on to the National League, and we'll try and bomb through these because Alan's off to play badminton in about 19 minutes, and Palmer's got an SC meeting to do. So we'll blitz through these as quick as possible. Palmer, do you want to take us away with Buxton?
So, representing Buxton.
You were going to do You were going to do a Birmingham accent, then, were you? And changed your mind at the last minute.
Well, I just saw a bulge and I thought Birmingham.
I was waiting for the Birmingham. We've got someone we've just spoken about in the chat, Ryan Ingram. What have I missed, lads? Just our predictions for the championship and stuff.
Basically, by a bit, Ryan, I've said Scunny are the greatest team on the planet, and these two have said we're shit. Anyway, Buxton have been represented by Alfie Botel, Jack Smith, Aaron
Can I
Butcher,
just point out, me
Luke
and you both had Scunny in the same position in the championship, so...
Alright then, we said Scunny are great, and Al said we're shit.
That's more like it. Carry on. Apologies.
So, Buxton, for the 4th time looking out, are being represented by Alfie Botel, Jack Smith, Aaron Butcher, Luke Harris, Jamie Affrington, Jack Chamelt, and one more, John Armstrong size.
Where have you got them, Palmer?
That is a very good question. Where's my prediction sheet? Here it is. I've got them bottom because they're Buxton.
That's as simple as that one gets.
Yes.
I've got Buxton in 4th. I think Alfie Botel and Jack Smith. Although there is a fair bit of experience, Alfie Botel's one of the best riders in National League Speedway for years, but like you said before, he's going to really miss having regular bike time with Championship racing this season, and that could hurt him. Al, where have you got Buxton?
Well, I just want to make a disclaimer. I know not a lot about National Development League, so I apologise for any offence I'm about to cause here. But I have Buxton exactly where Mr. Palmer has them, right down the very bottom in 6th place. Purely don't think it's a strong looking lineup compared to the rest in the league. Plus, we don't know who the last rider's going to be, so that could determine if it's any better or not.
Mr. Ingram, if you're still around, stick around because Alan's got your team in a very interesting position in these predictions in a couple of teams' time. On to the Edinburgh Academy then. They're led at number 1 by Vinnie Ford with Geordie Loftus and Dale Wood. Connor Coles as well is in that side along with Annika Loftus, Jamie Halder and Ben Wally. Al, where have you got the Monarchs Academy?
I can't believe I'm saying this. I have the Monarchs Academy in 2nd place.
Are you sure you're a Glasgow fan?
I know, 2nd place for Edinburgh. I never. But I just feel that top 4 is a very good looking top 4 that has a lot of experience coming from the Championship they can bring down to the National League for the 3 riders that below them that maybe don't have a lot of experience, and they can pass that on to them. And I think once they've got that experience, I'm sure it'll work quite nicely through that 1 to 7.
Fair enough. And Vinnie Ford, though, signed for a National League team last season. Palmer, you'll remember this, and he barely turned up.
Yeah, how could I forget? But he turned up with National Trophy team, don't forget.
It's true. For the Monarchs Academy, I've got him in 5th. That's not a team that excites me. Vinnie Ford might do okay. Geordie Loftus, I think, will as well. I'm intrigued to see how Annika Loftus goes. Connor Coles feels like he's been around forever, but never really progresses, to be honest. In my opinion, Darwood, so-so. Yeah, that's a team that I think finishes towards the bottom. Ingram has said, come on, Al, I know you've put the mighty Lion Cubs at the top of the table. Spoiler, he's not.
Spoiler, no, I'm not.
Yeah, I've gone for the Monarchs Academy in 4th. They just look like a 4th place team. I'm more interested in how Annika Loftus actually looks, not on the bike either.
God.
Young for you, Palmer.
Paedophile Palmer.
Don't you forget it. Only at weekends, though. Only at weekends.
On to the Kings Lynn Young Stars, who are a regular commenter on this stream tonight. Andy has said he thinks the Young Stars win the National League. Palmer, over to you.
It's an interesting looking team led by Simon Lambert and Jake Mulford, with Mickey Simpson probably on a false average as well.
Oh, yeah.
Jacob Cloughton completes the top 4, and then it's a big swash from 703 to 339 to Connor King, Kenzie Cozy, and Oliver Binns, or as he's known to his mates as Wheelie.
Where have you got the Young Stars, Palmer? You can explain for both of us, because we've both got them in the same position.
So we've got them in 3rd. I'm not too sure on Dill's reasonings. I think it's a very good team. I think it's a team that will do very, very well at home, but I think it's probably the 3rd best team in the league. It's as simple as that, really.
I absolutely agree with everything you've just said. Al, where have you got the Young Stars?
Oh dear.
Well, probably.
Wow. I've got the Young Stars in 5th place. And the reason I put them down there is I think this season is more of a learning season for a lot of their riders, rather than them focusing on challenging for the league. With them putting Simon in there and Jake, this is the time for the other 5 to get as much experience out of those 2, rather than pressure themselves to win the league or pressure themselves to be up there. I think they're more focused on getting experience than pressuring themselves to win the league.
Fair enough, Al. Fair enough.
Could be wrong.
Now on to the one Ingram's interested in, the Leicester Lion Cubs, and they have Freddie Hodder, Ben Morley, Tom Spencer, Max Perry, Ryan Ingram, Eli Meadows and Seth Norman. I'll go first on this one. I think that's a National League Champions team. I think you've got Ben Morley, Freddie Hodder and Tom Spencer at National League level are all capable of being number 1, and they're all in the same team. Max Perry is decent enough at National League level as well. Ingram was one of the most consistent riders at National League level last season, and that proved with the guest bookings in the National League and National Trophy that he put up. And I think he'll benefit from Championship experience, and that will carry over for Leicester as well. Eli Meadows was brilliant last season as well, and Seth Norman has a lot of potential to step up, particularly at home. So for me, that's a National League winning team, and I don't even think it's close for second.
We're going to say all this nice shit about Ryan, and he's going to go and be shit now, isn't he?
He's coming for you. He's going to pull your pants down at the Scuddy Press Day.
Well, it'll make for good pictures, won't it, for the team? That's a very, very good team. That's virtually a championship team to an extent. Well, it's a championship standard team in the National League.
Mm-hmm.
That's not getting beat at home.
Ingram has commented, actually, I think the National League teams are so strong this season because of the 42-point limit. You can afford to have people like Lambert, Mulford, Botel, Smith I get why those riders have gone into that league, because it's easy money and more laps for them. It is, and people like Alfie Botel, Simon Lambert that don't. Alfie not getting a championship spot, Simon never really getting called up for Premiership racing. It's more bike time for those kind of riders. But on the flip side of that, it's taking money out of youngsters' pockets that could, probably use it more. They don't put so much into their kit. Obviously, riders like Mulford and Lambert will have bikes up to a championship standard, and some of your younger riders have got them up to National League standard and are barely getting by. So it's a flip of the coin for that one for me. So Al, where have you got the mighty Lion Cubs?
I've got them in third place only because I feel that I think the top two, great top two. My worry is that that the reserve pairing I didn't know too much about, so I couldn't really comment too much on them. The middle order, I think, could do a job, but I think there is just a stronger middle pairing in the teams above them than what's in their team. But like I say, I don't know much about the National League, so I don't really know how they did last year.
And
so
we will continue to push that narrative that Al hasn't got a Scooby-Doo what he's talking about when it comes to the National League.
Palmer? Resumed.
Over to you for Middlesbrough.
So, up the Tigers then, led at number 1 with Ace Piper, with brother Steve Piper returning for a second season at the Echo Arena. Nathan Ablett makes his debut at the Echo Arena along with Harry Sadler, Kai Ward, Charlie Southwick and Ben Trigger all make their return to Middlesbrough Tigers. That team goes unbeaten at home for me. Mm-hmm. That team will do well away for me. I just literally, if there was a top 2 in National League Grand Final, it's Leicester and Middlesbrough.
I think you're right. We've both got Middlesbrough second, and that's a really good team. I don't know too much personally about Harry Sadler, but the rest of them, that top 3 of Ace Piper, Nathan Ablett and Ben Trigger is very, very... It's a bit like Leicester. Any one of them could be number 1, but I don't suspect Ace relinquishes that number 1 jacket, but he will get put under some pressure from those two, I think. Al?
Well, I've got Middlesbrough in 4th place.
You were pissed off your nut when you did these, weren't you?
I genuinely I haven't touched a drop of alcohol today. I just felt the bottom 4 I didn't feel like they would back up the top 3 enough to grant them any further up than 4th in the league, for me personally. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
You will be wrong.
But there we go.
You will be wrong. And the Oxford Chargers. Palmer, do you want to take us away for this one? You can have the last one. We'll let you.
Oh, ever so kind. Jody Scott leads the charge at number 1.
Literally.
With Darryl Richards, Senna Summers, Aston Vale, Max Broadhurst all returning to Sandy Lane for another season, with Mason Watson, who's been round for forever, and Harry Fletcher, who joins from Bellevue from last year.
Al, do you want to take us away with this one? Because I know you got to shoot in a minute.
Yeah, I put this team to win the league in the National League based on the fact they brought back, I think, 4 riders of their winning team from last year, and I feel they've looks like a really decent side, Oxford compared to the rest, and I reckon they could give the top 2 used. Reckon will be a run for the money.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. Palmer?
There's room for improvement. I think Harry Fletcher will probably be the signing of the season at Sandy Lane. But other than that, they look like a one-man team for me, and that's Jody Scott.
I have to say I agree with you. Senna Summers did well last season, and maybe Darrell, depending on how he comes back from his injury. Ashton Vale really dipped off the middle and end of last season. He looked a shadow of himself. Max Broadhurst, he's either up or down. There's no in between. As is Mason Watson, and I agree with you. Harry Fletcher will be a really good find. I've put a message on our little sheet, Palmer, for you as well. But I've got this team finishing in 6th place. I've got this as a bottom of the league team. So that wraps. Andy has said, be very good racing in the National League this season. If the fans get to go and watch them, we need more people to watch live. Great sport. We've said this a lot, Palmer, but some of the best meetings we saw last season were in the National League at Scunny, Birmingham and streams we watched as well. Hopefully some of these teams will stream their home meetings. I know Edinburgh do. Hopefully Leicester will again now after having last season off. Middlesbrough do. Oxford do. So we should get to see some good National League racing this year, and it's some of the best racing that I watched last year was National League.
Yeah, the best meetings I went to were National League at Leicester, and I used to be really critical of Leicester.
Ingram has put his predictions in for the National League. He's put Leicester top, I wonder why. Kings Lynn in 2nd, Middlesbrough 3rd, Edinburgh 4th, Buxton 5th and Oxford in 6th. I knew there was a reason we sponsored this boy.
Well, when he gets our name on his graphic, we will be.
I want to know if his Scunny Kevlars have been sorted out yet. That's the big question. Al's got to go and play badminton now. Palmer's got to go and race some SC, so we're going to call that a night here. Palmer, do you want to wrap us up for this one?
That's been our predictions. Come back at the end of the season so we can tell you how much shit we were talking. We'll be back next Thursday. We don't know quite what it'll be yet, but it will be a re-watch along to get us in the excitement mood for the season ahead that literally nobody's got any motivation for.
And that will probably start at 7 o'clock, the same as the podcast and stuff, where as it stands we won't be doing any more podcasts, certainly with riders for the time being. There will be some podcasts of just us and our content coming up, but as far as our rider interviews go, that's probably the wrap for those until the end of the season, and we'll do that again then. But we'll get back onto our regular content from next week with all the season build up. Andy has said, thanks guys, brilliant live stream, love it. What a boy.
What a gentleman.
Do you want to wrap us up, Squire?
So, I've been Dan, he's been